Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shadow, bringing you guys some more smoker videos. Somehow I was at TGS in Tinley. I lost a dice roll to this Enel. They chose to go first, so I start off my turn with a brand new, and unfortunately you do see a Gecko Moria being milled, since it is not searchable by the brand new. So I end up grabbing TCG, which is probably one of the most best cards in the smoker deck here. Other than that, my opponent passed his turn. Looks like he's playing a Star of Enel version, which is pretty much what Enel usually does. I start off with swinging 5. He takes it, and I establish a Borsalino, which Borsalino is very good in this matchup since it cannot be KO'd by my opponent's effect. So his Namis, Gadatsus, Rocket Luffy's, none of them work. So, which is good for me. So he swings 8. I take the life, and then he establishes a Shirahoshi blocker, which kind of annoying, but it is what it is. You do see I swing 5 with the Borsalino. I do this because if I swung with leader, there's a chance that it can be popped by an event. It could only not be KO'd on my opponent's turn, but on my turn it's fair game. I decide not to swing with leader just because I don't want to leave him down to 1 life, so you can start cycling out Yamato healing, but you're going to see, and I think the next turn I just throw that idea out the window. Didn't want to give him more options for this turn at least. He swings 6 at the Borsalino. I counter out just so I could have the double blocker, and then he plays out a Lucy, which is essentially what it uses to rest and kind of cycle out his own life to be able to give himself options here. So I knew I couldn't let this Lucy stick. And you're going to see I do a Sengoku to basically find some options here. I'm going to chuck a 2k and I believe another 2k, maybe a 1k. Nope, not two 2ks. And you do see I find a Brook and a Kobe, which is exactly what I was looking for. Something to pop because I think I didn't have anything other than Tashigi, but I wanted to save Tashigi for more late game. And not only that, it would have taken Tashigi and Ice Age to be able to remove the Lucy, which I think is very wasteful. I think right here I was trying to do Tashigi to Brook to pop it, but unfortunately 1 down less, so Ice Age is gonna have to be used here. Yeah, and you see me trying to math it out here, but prior to me going for the pop, I'm gonna put some type of pressure because I realize if I swing with my leader and there's a chance that he's got a trigger in life, it can pop a Borsalino. So I do poke with Borsalino for 5. And I'm only swinging for 5s because I want to take whatever counter I can from this Enel's hand. He does take it and triggers out a Frankie, which I'm okay with. He does draw from it and also establish a body. And I swing another 5. And if he takes this, this is good for me because then now I can pressure his life and I know he's going to give me cards. And you're going to see here he triggers out a Raigo, which again is one of the only things that can KO a Borsalino since it is on my turn. So one of the Borsals get knocked, which is exactly why I pressured life early. And I do use my leader ability to minus the Lucy down so that I can swing for 7. And I decided to swing for 8. This was sort of a misplay on my part. What I should have did was still just swing for 5, poking to potentially get another card, and then attach the 2 down and swing with Brandon, so I could have got 2 swings in this turn. But regardless of the fact, we got the Shirahoshi off board, which is good for us. And then you see I do establish Rebecca, I believe I grabbed a 2k, and then played a Brook from hand to KO the Lucy. So still remove 2 bodies from the field this turn. One of them being the one that can't be knocked or he would heal. So it's still a win in my book here. At this point, I believe he is at his 9 down turn, and he swings 5 at the Brook, and I could have countered out here with a 2k, the ones that I did grab from the trash, but I decided to give him Rebecca because I do see that he is in Yamato range, so I don't want the Rebecca to be popped and I don't get a block off of it, so I decided to block with it. Very quick to give him Rebecca, as you're going to notice, because I'm afraid that they're going to get popped, at least right now, since it can pop a 5 cost currently. But you do see he ends up swinging 9 at the Borsalino, I end up giving it to him, and then he plays out a Gadatsu, which KOs my Brook. So ends up board wiping all my essential cards, which is unfortunate. I needed the Brook to stick to be able to do some, popping. I do play the TCG out, and then I attach it down to leader, reducing it, and then leader will see the 0, so now it gets an extra 1k buff. And then I activate main TCG to trash it. Here I'm opting to whether to play something out or just swing big at the Frankie just to eliminate the pressure. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to slap all the Don on my leader and swing for 11k at the smoker. Since I do have that extra 1k buff from seeing the 0 cost Gadatsu. So not much board establishing done, but I want to eliminate his board before he decides to put a lot of pressure on me. So I will take being able to remove 2 bodies this turn. Passed it over to my opponent, Thivo, which he was at the Sully's 1k tournament. Ended up being one of the, I think, top 4 if I'm not mistaken. So very skilled player I'm playing against here. But him not slapping down a like Yamato or Katakuri shows me that, one, he doesn't have the cards yet. Well, right here is where he finally established the Katakuri, but he had to do it on 10 Don turn, which means he just found the card or was waiting for something very useful. But finally plays out a Katakuri, and I do a Sengoku, giving him 2 2Ks, and you see I draw into an Ice Age Helmeppo and something else, which is okay with me. But I'm going to do another Sengoku search because right now I'm looking for something to be able to pop. And I do see a Moria and 2 Surus, I believe, which 2 Surus is great, but that wasn't exactly what I was looking for. But I do have the Ice Ages. I believe I have 2 or 3 in hand currently. So I decided to do Ice Age there. And then I'm going to do a Kobe pop, I believe. Yep, Kobe trashing a Suru. Which you do see me getting rid of a lot of 2Ks here. But it's great, but I need stuff to be able to pop. And then right there, I end up passing turn, which is not the best idea. What I should have did was attach 2 down to the brand new, swing for 5. And if he would have took the life, then swing for 7 with leader. If not, swinging for 5 with the brand new would have at least given me 1 card from hand, which is what I needed to see that turn. Or I could have swung 5 with leader and then attached the 4 down on the brand new, because he probably wouldn't expect that swing. So you do see he plays out a Gadatsu, pops the Kobe, and then he's going to establish a Nami, I believe, as well. But chooses not to use the ability, which is the right call. Why pop one of these little bodies? Potentially brand new, because I am going to start swinging with brand new soon, but it's a 2-Don investment for me to even consider doing that. So you'd rather keep his hand size. I do use my leader ability on the Gadatsu, and I'm going to establish a Moria here, which you did see me grab. I believe I'm going to do Rebecca. I have Helmeppo in the trash. Yep, so Helmeppo will play over a Sengoku, which will give the reduction to Gadatsu. And I'm going to grab a 2K since I do have a Brook in hand. So at least grabbing one of these 2Ks back. And the only 2K you are able to really grab are Tashigi and T-Bone. Suru is not grabbable off of Rebecca because it is a 1 cost. Rebecca can only grab a 3 to 7. So that's why Tashigi's or T-Bone are always going to be the target. But you do see I do pop the Gadatsu. I had a mini brain fart there. The Nami's going to stay a turn, but it's okay. We've established the Moria, a Brook, and then we still have leader swing. So here he decides to swing 5 at the Brook. And again, I give him the Rebecca. Honestly, the best call probably would have been to just give him a 2K. But he ends up swinging 7 at the Brook. I give it to him, and he plays it out another Katakuri. Which now you're starting to see his top end. But unfortunate for him, I do have an Ice Age in hand. So you do see an Ice Age hit the field, targeting the Katakuri, bringing it down to a 3 cost. And then I'm going to tap 5, play out another Tashigi to reduce it. Leader ability, we'll see it, and then I'm going to attach the Don all on leader again. And I'm going to swing out at this Nami, again pressuring his board, because he's either going to give me a lot of counter to protect it or let it go. A lot of the time, Enel's going to keep a lot of that counter for himself. And you do see I end up using the Tashigi's activate main to get rid of the Katakuri, because again, Ice Age plus the Tashigi and then the leader ability on top of it is a 0 cost and an activate main. Only thing with Tashigi is this ability can only be done the same turn she is played. So I end up getting rid of her entire field, which is great. And then here he ends up playing Darashi, which allows him to look for 2 triggers, which is absolutely a great card. He ends up finding 2 2Ks. So very great for me, knowing that he's got more counter, but better that the Veggie be in his hand than it going into life, in my opinion. So still leaves him with 7 Dawn. Now I know he can't play a big body necessarily, so he swings for 5. I take it. I could avoid taking these swings, but I choose not to because I'm trying to find more options. As you see, my hand size is about 4 cards. I'm really running out of resources compared to the Enel player here. And he does pop my Tashigi with another Nami, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. I believe I have another one in hand. Nope, I establish a Kuzan. The Kuzan draws me a Hina. And then Hina will play out, will -4 the Nami, and then I play a Brook from hand. So I honestly gambled it there. The Kuzan, I did not have the Hina. The Kuzan is what found me the Hina right there. So it allowed me to be able to pop the Nami. The Shirahoshi on the board, it is a blocker, but again, I don't need to pop it. I don't want to give him a free life. And he will just give me the blocker with the amount of pressure that I will do eventually. Unless I can Tashigi it. So here he swings 5. I decide on countering. My instinct told me not to just take it, because now he establishes an ace, and ace will swing, and I take this life. Once I saw that he didn't have a board to swing into, and he didn't attach any Dawn, I figured an ace, 10 drop was going to be coming. So now I got to figure out how to remove this ace, and I do have an Ice Age, and I believe I have Jack in hand, which is the best thing to do, but I do swing 5 with the Kuzan, only 5, and I reduce the ace by 4, bringing it down to a 6 cost. He ends up taking the life, which is good because I can at least pressure with the rest of the board here. And you do see I do use an Ice Age, and I play the Jack over the Helmeppo, which allows me to cycle out cards. And I'm going to cycle out a brand new. I decided to keep the 2Ks in hand. And again, now I can pressure the field. I can swing 5s across, 6 if I wanted to with Brook, but I decided to swing 5 with the Hina, and I was going to swing with brand new first, but I decided swinging with Hina first because it is the one that needs no Dawn investment and could potentially be popped with anything but a trigger. So gives me a 2K, swing with my leader. Here he decides to take it, triggering his own leader ability, chucking a Raigo and healing, and then I swing for 5 with brand new. Decided to swing with brand new over the Brook because Brook I can get more value off of. It can give me a -1 reduction even if I don't swing for 5 at face. So if brand new goes, it's okay. I'd rather keep the Brook, because then with Kuzan and Brook, that's a -5 reduction, and leader ability can be a 6. So very essential for it to stay up, and it's the better target to swing at. So end up passing the turn. My opponent is at 10 Dawn. It's a pretty rough spot. If he decides to Yamato, the only thing he can KO are the Brook, Hina, and Branu. But the only thing that's really applying any type of pressure at this point is going to be this Kuzan. So the gamble is really paying off in my favor because the Kuzan just swinging gives a -4 reduction, which is great. And you're going to see here, he's going to swing 6 at the Kuzan, and I'm going to give him a 2K. It's an automatic save for me. But he's debating on whether to go for Brook, or not Brook, but Hina or Kuzan. Kuzan is obviously the obvious choice here. And I do give him a 2K, and he will establish a Yamato, KOing Hina. He could have KO'd Brook, which would have been a good option, but I imagine he was trying to get rid of whatever pressure was possible. Unfortunately here, again, with Kuzan and Brook, that's already a -5, and then leader ability would be 6, putting the Yamato in the Jack range. So potentially the Brook would have been a better target here. But I do swing the 5, and the 5 will reduce with the Kuzan. So now the Yamato is at a 5 cost. And you're going to see here exactly what I was talking about. Doing the little baby swings to get rid of the field. So I do swing 4 at his leader, reducing the Yamato by 1, bringing it down to a 4 cost. Leader ability to bring it down. Well, actually, I decided not to use leader ability yet because I played Tashigi out. Tashigi reduces the Shirahoshi down, and then I use leader ability to reduce the Yamato. And I do this because Smoker does not need to see the 0 cost that he is declaring. He could give a -1 reduction to something else and still see a 0 cost to get a 1k buff. So I do that prior, so that way I can trash the Shirahoshi and KO the Yamato and still swing 7 if I decide to, which I don't think I will because I don't have any other swings to kind of put any type of pressure on him. And then you see the Jack cycle. I thought about trashing the Rebecca, but I remembered I was going to play the Rebecca out that turn, so deciding to take that turn back and then, or not take it back, but switch out the card, play out the Rebecca to grab some, I believe a 2k. So now I have some type of protection on my board as far as like an ace or a Yamato, because the Rebecca is not in range for that. So he swings another 5 at Kuzan and decides to swing or establish an ace and then swing 10. I give him the Rebecca, which is exactly what I wanted it for. And again, we still have all our key essential pieces on the field, which is the Kuzan and Brook. I believe in my hand I do have a Moria, which is going to be what I'm going to try to establish this turn to at least play out a Rebecca. But knowing that I'm going to do this, I am going to have to get rid of the Kuzan and Brook. Brook, obviously, because it's not a 5k attack stat line. And at this point, I'm running out of resources to continuously pop his board. So at this point, I don't really need it. So you do see I declare the Kuzan swing. Just for 5, again, we're just poking. He takes it. He's been taking every single Kuzan 5 swings, so there's no need to attach more Don. But the most important thing is we reduce the ace to a 6 cost. All we need is 3 more cost reduction to be able to get it into Jack range. And I end up swinging 5 at his leader with the Brook, giving the ace another 5 reduction. He gives me a 2k. Now leaving this ace at 5. And I still need to figure out exactly how to get it down, but I do know since I am going to do the Moria, it's going to obviously be a Rebecca Helm Apple that is in the trash. I end up swinging 6 with the Tashiki before I do anything with leader, because again, something or anything can pop from life, which could be basically the Egghead Nami at this point. Raigo wouldn't be able to KO my Tashigi since it is a 5 cost. I believe he would only be able to pop a 3 because it's based on our total life. So, end up swinging 6. He ends up giving me a 2k. Potentially swinging 5 and then 7 would have been a little better, but it's okay because what I was trying to do was at least get counter from hand. At this point, there's no point in swinging with my leader ability because I don't want to let him again cycle out his life with his leader ability and potentially get something better. So I'm gonna decide not to swing a leader ability, and you do see I established the Moria and I'm grabbing the pieces that I'm considering on using. I do use, obviously the Rebecca is going to be a target. I'm considering between Helm Apple and Brand New, and I'm considering Brand New because I want to give myself something different in hand, potentially a counter. But I do see my deck and I opt to not do Brand New. I believe I only had like 10 cards left in the deck. I was about to deck myself out, which is crazy to say, but the Sengoku was able to do that. And you do see I put the Don in the trash for some reason. But Helmepo will hit the field, reducing the ace by another 3. And then Rebecca, I decided to grab the Hina and play the Hina out to give it another -4. And then use Jack ability. I just trashed the board, so keeping the Tashigi because I figured it might be beneficial. But I do decide to play the Hina over the Helmepo. Yes, it is overkill as far as the reduction. but the Hina is at least a 5k attack line, and I would rather have gotten a brand new search off, but again, don't want to risk milling out depending on how late we go into the game. So I opted to just ensure the cost reduction goes through to be able to get the KO. So he swings 5 at the Hina. I give him the TCG from hand. I decided to just do this because who knows what else he has. Maybe it's an ace and it's going to force him to have to rush into something, but ends up playing Yamato, which does pop the Hina, which is unfortunate because at that point I could have held on to the 1k that I had in hand. But at this point I have to put pressure. I swing 7 with the Tashigi, which is going to prompt to give me potentially his life or 2 cards to protect it. I'm going to end up swinging 7 with my leader. At this point, I can't be afraid to lose the blocker. I'm going to need to go all in at this turn and dwindle the hand and pretty much take his life, which the 8k swing from the jack does connect. And he's considering on using the trigger, which he opted not to. I'm not exactly sure what it was. But you do see he trashes a Yamato, heals with his leader ability. I swing for 9. This is going to connect, which leaves him with no life, and I establish another jack. I could have swung higher, yes, but I opted not to because I know at least next turn I will not die if he plays a rush ace because I have the blocker. And at least establishing another big body here will pretty much put me in a decent spot to go lethal next turn for sure. Yes, how many cards in hand? I obviously have none. I do give him the Rebecca there to protect the jack, and here he plays a 10 cost ace, heals, and decides to swing 10 at the jack. At this point, honestly, the best target would have been the Moria because the Moria has a 9k attack stat line compared to 8. So him choosing the jack over the Gecko was fine with me. And then he swings 5 at leader. Obviously, you do see the board state. Next turn, I obviously lose if I cannot get him this turn. So I swing 9 with the Tashigi, just attaching 3 Don. And this will connect, now allowing him to see the Share Hoshi and draw 3 and trash 2. This is great for him because it allows him to get rid of the bricks in hand, which you do see is Lucy, Raigo. And he still has to trash 1 more card from his hand to be able to heal from his leader ability. Regardless of the fact, I'm going to just swing 9 with the jack, which is also, I believe he counters out. Then I swing 9 with leader, which gets through, and then more for 11 for the win. But as always, if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below what you guys thought of the match, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.